So, on today's episode of How Am I Going to Destroy My Kitchen? I am a pro at it. You can ask my children. I am going to make a low carb barbecue chicken casserole. Now, have you ever been to the barbecues? Pulled pork, pulled chicken, barbecue, coleslaw on top, nice yummy bun, nice gooey goodness. Well, when you're on a fitness journey, sometimes you don't always need the bun. So why not make it into a casserole, right? Well, this is what I'm going to show you how to do today. So I have everything already meal prepped. Y'all don't need to see me cooking the chicken and the bacon and all the stuff beforehand. So what you're going to need are 2 pounds of shredded chicken, seasoned to taste, however you want to do you. Garlic, paprika. I have a honey garlic seasoning, sweet and spicy barbecue seasoning, whatever works for you, go for it. I have bacon. My recipe calls for 4 ounces, but I will never ever dictate to you how much bacon you should put in a recipe because I guarantee you what I made there is more than 4 ounces. And then you are going to need 2.5 cups of just the shredded coleslaw mix. You are going to need 1/2 cup of cottage cheese. Blend it up in your blender cup, adding a little bit of milk or water to make it more of a dressing type thing. Season to taste. Little garlic, little paprika, whatever you kind of want to mix in, because this is going to go in your coleslaw to kind of make it that creamy coleslaw texture, but we're going to use cottage cheese instead of mayo. So I seasoned it with a little bit of garlic, a little bit of paprika, and then you are going to need some shredded cheese and some onion. So my family's not a huge fan of raw onion, so I did saute mine. Not necessary. You could just get a nice, good red onion, chop it up real small, and sprinkle it on as we go through. Like I said, mine is sauteed just because my family's not a fan of raw onions like I am. So, sometimes you have to tweak the recipe to accommodate everybody in the family. So, going down through here, my daughter left her dirty dishes on the counter. We are going to start with our 9x13 casserole dish and our handy dandy scale. All right, we are going to layer the pan with 2 pounds of our shredded chicken. Yes, my hands have been washed. Always important. Washy wash repeatedly. Washy wash. So like I said, 2 pounds shredded chicken, seasoned to taste. There is going to be barbecue sauce on top of this, but a little seasoning never hurt anybody. Guess I should just dump the whole thing in here. Funny thing, the package said it was like 4.5 pounds, but after you cook it down, we were looking at 2 pounds and a little smidge left. So I'm going to actually put it all in because it is not enough for me to kind of just let hang around in the. So all in all, we are at 2.4. So 2 pounds, 4 ounces of chicken. So next step, and if you're looking to keep really close macros, what you're going to do is you are going to clear out your scale, and you're going to go ahead and sprinkle on your bacon, just so you know how much you're using. So like I said, this is a measure with your heart. Now only do about half. That's about 3 ounces right there because you always have to top it with bacon. You're going to go ahead and you're going to take your onion and sprinkle that on. Mine doesn't want to necessarily sprinkle because it's been sauteed, but it is all good. So we got a little onion on there. Oops. And then I'll wash my hands real quick. Like I said, wash, wash, wash. So what we are going to do is hit this with just a little more garlic powder, a little bit of pepper. Like I said, season to taste. This is just kind of how my family does things. Like I said, you do you. Make the recipe your own. Does not have to be cookie cutter carbon copy. Do what works for you. So what we are going to do is we are going to want, let's see, how much cheese? 1 cup of our shredded cheddar. So 28 grams is a quarter cup. So I'm gonna go ahead and just zero this back out. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do 56 grams. Oops. Haha, you know what I did? That's not gonna work because I didn't change that to grams. I'm still in ounces. So I need to go get my conversion chart. Okay, so we're looking at about 2 ounces is 28 grams, quarter cup. So we're going to shoot for 4 ounces because I apparently had a moment. So there is our 4 ounces there. And then we are going to go with the same amount of mozzarella. Another 4 ounces there. Okay. And now what we're going to do is we are going to mix this coleslaw up here with this cottage cheese concoction I got going on. Because like I said, it's not necessary. This is kind of, I made it the first time and I didn't do this. And I thought maybe a little creamy coleslaw will be pretty tasty on top with some cottage cheese. So why not give it a try, right? You know, nope. Recipe had to be cookie cutter. I apologize. I have lazy dogs. So like I said, 2.5 cups of the coleslaw, 1/2 cup of cottage cheese, blend it, puree it down in your Ninja, and then we're going to mix it. Like I said, season it to taste however you like it. And doesn't that look like normal, good old fashioned coleslaw? But now we have protein coleslaw. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to lay this right on top. All right. And then we are going to zero that back out. We're going to sprinkle on the rest of our bacon.
Great.
All right. So that was 6 ounces total of bacon. And then we are going to, the recipe called for a cup of each. Again, if you don't think you need all that cheese, you don't have to add all of it on. It's totally fine. You do you. And I think I'm just going to do 1 ounce of that. And then 1 ounce of the mozzarella. All right. So what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and throw this in the oven at 350 just until the cheese is melted. And then I forgot the best part, the barbecue sauce. How could I forget the best part? I mean, what am I thinking? So the recipe that I found does call for 1 cup. Again, you just kind of do what what is best for you and your family. You can always add more later. All right, so 1 cup is going to be 8 ounces. So we are going to tear that out again or clear it out again. And then we're just going to drizzle this right on top here.
Are you selling your truck or anything? Well, there's two. Oh, okay. All right.
And there we go.
Bye.
So I'm just going to kind of spread this on top here.
Oh my God.
And we are going to go ahead and we are going to throw it in the oven and let everything melt together into a gooey, gooey goodness. Okay, so we have been in the oven about 15 minutes. So let's pull it out and see what kind of goodness we have going on here. Ooh, when I say goodness, I mean goodness. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just scoop some of this out so you can see how amazing this is. Look at how awesome this looks. There's cheesy, barbecuey. Um, I don't know about you, but I say the next barbecue, this goes along. I mean, this is so awesome. You could do anything with it. You could get a wrap and put it in a wrap. You could get a keto bun. You could eat it like this. This is just a great barbecue friendly family get together kind of recipe. You get the coleslaw, you get the barbecue. You can add a little barbecue on, at the table. Sky's the limit. So I hope you enjoyed this one. Please let me know if you have any questions. The recipe will be at the end, but always reach out if something doesn't make sense. And I hope you have a wonderful, fabulous day. And I'm going to go clean up the disaster I made.